mixing our resin, and the first thing that I like to do is just make sure that my container is nice and clean and has no dust in it whatsoever. You can just simply get a paper towel and squirt this onto your towel, your alcohol, rather than into your container, because that way you're not going to have any accidental drips left into your container. And just run it through and around to remove any dust, even hidden dust particles that can float to the top of your resin as it's curing and leave a tiny little dust imprint that you really want to avoid if at all possible. And I like to have my measurements facing away from me so that I can look through into my cup and see where I'm pouring my part A and part B to. Today we're just going to mix up 200 mils of resin, and so that will be 100 mils of part A and 100 mils of part B. As most, always check your instructions of the resin that you're using. Mad artist resin is 1 part to 1 part, hence 100 mils plus 100 mils. And we're using part A now, and we'll go into 100 mils. You see that drizzle there? Paper towel will become your best friend. And clean as you go. It just makes it so much better for you and your resin. Makes it so much better for you and your resin. And we're looking for the lid. Here it is. And putting our part A lid on to our part A container and moving it away so that we've only got part B. And now we're picking up and adding in 100 mils, bringing it up to 200 mils in total. And that's that now. And again, I'm just making sure that I've got no other resin on here before I give that a wipe, because it would be awful to have some part A on to the part B and we accidentally cure our lid closed. We're missing that lid, so we'll put that here and just do that for the time being. And now we're starting our mixing. I'm going to use this camera here. And it looks absolutely clear that when you put in the part A and the part B until you do the first little stir. And you can see it starting to string up straight away. And what we need to do now is stir, scraping the bottom of the cup and pulling on the sides. And scraping our stick and getting that into the cup so that all the resin is mixed really efficiently. And the resin is completely mixed when there is clarity. It usually takes 3 to 5 minutes to mix your resin really well. And the more resin you're mixing up, the longer it will take, but not necessarily the less. So if you're only mixing up 100 mils, it won't be 1 minute, it will still be about 3 minutes. You don't need to be doing this. It doesn't hurry the process up. What it does do is just add more air bubbles into your resin mix. So stirring, making sure we get the bottom of the cup, your mixing cup, scraping it off the stick and getting all of that resin back into itself. And we don't need to panic, because when it's done and done well, you're halfway to getting a really good resin outcome. In fact, the more you concentrate now with your mixing, the better your outcome will be. If we stopped now, and you can see those strands in there, your resin will cure glossy in some areas and some parts will have sticky lines, and that will be where it hasn't mixed completely.